Good evening and welcome back to Clix with Q. On tonight's program is part 2 of the Doctor Doom videos. This one has pretty much all the best ones. All right, welcome back. Let's get rolling. Let's get right into it. We got Doom 29, Doom 2099 Revolutionary. So he's another one of them, those title characters. Obviously, he doesn't have any special powers. Title characters don't have special powers. Looking at his dial here, man, that looks really washed out. But he's got, geez. What happened with the coloring there? Well, it looks like it's like brown or something, but it should be invulnerability and running shot in the beginning there. Very gray. I don't know. It got really washed out there. But yeah, he's looking at his dial here. He's pretty darn good. 4 damage for 5 clicks out of 8, which is nice. Only 3 clicks of 3 damage. He starts with Energy Explosion and goes to Penetrating Psychic Blast. Starts with Invulnerability, ends up with Toughness and Regeneration. His defense goes steadily down as it continues there, but his damage creeps back up there, so you got to watch out for this guy, especially on that last click when he has Long Range Combat Expert with an 11 attack and 4 damage. Think about that 6 damage there. He's 125 points. There's 2 clicks of prob in there, and he's got the Doom team ability and the team player team ability, so he can join other people, which is pretty useful. It's also useful to note, and I just realized this now, so this is not going to be good for my opponents in the future, that he has Latveria, Shield, Armor, Future, Mystical, Politician, Ruler, Scientist. So those are all pretty nice keywords. Looking at his title character abilities. Deposing Tiger Wild, which is a +0 plot points. Free, make an attack that deals 1 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. If the attack hits, gain 1 plot point. If the attack hit the highest point or tied opposing character on the map, instead gain 3 plot points. So, you always want to be going after those highest point opposing characters. Then he's got 1-, stealing the shipment as part of the Zephyro resistance. Free, choose an adjacent opposing character. If they aren't equipped, they modify defense -2 this turn. Otherwise, unequip that character's equipment. I mean, I guess, if you're getting everybody to attack a singular target, and, unequipping people is nice too, I guess. And then it says One Nation Under Doom, which is -7. Free. For the rest of the game, for each opposing character, the first time each turn that opposing character would be given a close range move or power action, you may roll a d6, 3 to 6. That character can't be given that type of action that turn. So, this one's pretty mean. This one just takes your entire opponent's strategy and puts it at the behest of Doom. If you can pull it off. So really what you're trying to do is get as many hits in. You want at least 2 hits. I mean, you need 3 if you're being a stickler here, but on the highest point opposing character. And then you can do your, actually you just need 2 because he starts at the plot point. So yeah, you hit the highest point opposing character twice, and then you can inflict this awful thing. And when Doom 2099 Revolutionary is KO'd, an opponent chooses a number of standard powers equal to your friendly characters on the map. Characters on your force can't use those powers until the end of your next turn. Pretty bad for you, but it's certainly worth his One Nation Under Doom. All right, so yeah, that figure, I'd give him an 8.9. Dial's nice. I like this dial a lot. Sculpt is very cool. Paint could be better, but it's not bad. Next, we have the Doctor Doom from the Deep Cuts Fantastic Four. This one, I wish there was a different sculpt, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't dislike this sculpt. I just don't love it either. There's other sculpts that I love of Doctor Doom. This one's not. I don't love it, but it's okay. It's there. It's not bad. As you can see, my version of the paint job is really not good. I'll be having I don't like it that much. I'll be having a new Doom pretty soon here. Actually, 2 of them in my Clix videos. But this one's pretty mean, though, statistics-wise. He's got a trait, Beloved Ruler of Latveria, Leadership. And then he's got a special attack power, Photon Shot. Energy Explosion. When Dr. Doom uses it, after resolutions, each hit character is knocked back 2 squares in a direction of your choosing. Very, very useful. Looking at his dial, he's got that very, very useful power for most of it. He starts with Energy Shield Deflection and then has Invulnerability after that. Why? I don't know. But it's there. 4 damage without Wit is very nice. And then he goes to Perplex, and then finally to Long Range Combat Expert, especially on that last click with the 12 attack. You like to see that. So really, when it comes down to Dooms that are 100 points, this one I think takes the cake. Especially if you compare him to the Cosmic Clash 100-point line. This one is far superior for 100 points than that one. But, to each their own, I suppose. But I would say this one takes the cake. So yeah, he can be run at 175 or 40. 40, I wouldn't do that because it's, he could get insta-KO'd, and that's no good. The 75, sure, because he might land on those last 2 clicks there. But yeah, like that Doom a lot. Next, we have the Doctor Doom from the Future Foundation set, which I did before the Future Foundation Fast Forces. I'm sorry, folks. We'll be doing that. That'll be following this one. He's got a trait, Sideline Active, Unique Modifier, Friendly Captains and Sidekicks modify attack +1 when attacking 1+ characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. Okay. Even though he's themed on a Fantastic Four team, who are his sidekicks? Anyway, I don't like this whole ally captain sidekick thing. It's just it's just stupid. It's just it's one thing to figure out a strategy with a character based off of a special power or a trait that they have. It's another thing entirely to have to remind yourself constantly that your characters possess certain powers. I don't know. I'm sure there's some people out there who like it. He's got another trait, the Strong Survive. Once per turn, when an opposing character is healed after resolutions, you may heal 1 click on Dr. Doom or a sidekick. That's actually pretty nice. Next, we have Enhanced Shielding, Defend, Energy Shield Deflection, Invulnerability. That power is his first click power. Looking at his dial here, it's okay for 75 points, I would say. For 75, it's okay. I don't know when I'd play this Doom. And I probably would use the other Doom, the Deep Cuts Doom instead of this one at 75. 30 point line, pretty useful for 30 points. I would say that much. Because he's got Defend, Energy Shield Deflection, and Invulnerability. The Defend isn't going to be pretty useful on this. 17. Come on. But the Leadership and Energy Shield Deflection, that'll be nice. And even if he does get hit, he'll probably only take enough where he'll get onto his Outwit click, which is also very nice. Moving on here, we have the Fast Forces Future Foundation Doctor Doom. This one can be run at 100 or 50. He's got that trait similar to the one that the Fantastic Four have, except his is much better. Once again, I prove my superiority. When an opposing character would move adjacent to Doctor Doom, roll a d6, 4 through 6, choose one. That character immediately ends their action, or, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Looking at his dial, it's not even close to being indicative of Doctor Doom, which is why I gave it a 6. It just looks... And why does he have healing at the end? Why does he have healing at the end? I don't like this dial. At 100 points, I mean, come on. There's no reducers at all. 8 clicks doesn't make him 100 points. The most egregious part about all this, though, is that this Doctor Doom does not have Indomitable. Like, what? Doctor Doom doesn't have Indomitable? That's how you know that you're creating a statistic not that actually represents a character, but that fits a certain bill of certain stats that you needed to make. You should have worked around that to give Doctor Doom Indomitable, because he always has it. Or he should. Oh my god. So it's not good. We're moving on. But what we do have that's good here, we have Doctor Doom, the Sorcerer Supreme. This is one of the chases from the Future Foundation set. All the chases from the Future Foundation set were some sort of Doom. And as you guys will see, I only don't have a couple of them. A few of them. But yeah, let's get into it here. Doctor Doom, the Sorcerer Supreme. He's got a trait like all the Dooms from this set. All the chase Dooms. The many faces of Doom. At the beginning of the game, you may choose a starting line of equal points on a character from your sideline that also has this trait. If you do, replace this character with a chosen character. So that's just if your opponent like instantly plays something to counter you, you can just be like, oh, okay, well then I'm changing it to this Doom. And that's really useful for all those people who have tons and tons of money and just can buy all these Dooms right away. For competitive play. I don't know how people expected them to go into competitive play. Like, it doesn't... I guess the thing that blows my mind is, like, when this set came out, there's no chance that anybody's going to make any use of that trait whatsoever. The only people who are ever going to make use of it are freaks like me, who waste all of their money buying plastic figurines and get all of them. Except I'm not even the kind of person to do a competitive game, so I'll never be able to make use of that trait. I don't care. All right. It says, the world will always have a Sorcerer Supreme. When an opposing character is turned to its starting click this game, after resolutions, roll a d6 and heal Doctor Doom, the Sorcerer Supreme, equal to half the result. Very nice. Mystical Shielding. Energy Shield Deflection, Super Senses. And he has changed the fates, his special damage power. Once per attack, you may re-roll the attack roll of a character within range and line of fire. Once per attack. It's unbelievable. Looking at his dial, he's certainly worth his 150 and his 75. Almost all of these chase Dooms are a little bit more tempting at their 75, but the 150, holy smokes. Like, it's really good. And being able to re-roll the attack rolls plus the probability control that he gets later, I mean, the re-rolling the attack roll is unbelievable. And I've played against him many a time and just suffered greatly because of it. He also has Indomitable, as all Dooms ought, and he's got the Mystic's Team ability, so if you hit him, you get hurt too. Love it. This Doom is really brilliant. The sculpt is beautiful. The dial is just mean. It's mean. And it's a really great choice for a chase. Sorcerer Supreme Doom. Everybody knows he should normally be the Sorcerer Supreme. Everybody knows that Doctor Strange, and I'm talking about, male Doctor Strange, not Clea, who is taking on his mantle. I'm talking about real Doctor Strange. Everybody knows that real Doctor Strange is still not as good at magic as Doctor Doom. And those of you who are saying to yourself right now, that's not true. That's not true. Doctor Strange is better at magic than Doom. Just search your heart. Think about it. He's better. All right, next we have Dr. Thing. This was from a What If issue where where Victor goes on the spacecraft with the F4 instead of Ben Grimm, who then Ben Grimm goes to the gamma bomb testing site that Bruce Banner is working at. So, obviously, Victor Von Doom becomes this thing creature, and he blames it on Reed Richards and the other two, excuse me. And they crash land in the perfect spot, the gamma base. And then Ben turns into Hulk, and then they fight. And so it's Ben Hulk versus Doom Thing, and it's thankfully one issue. So anyway, he's got a trait here. He's got the many faces of doom. We already went over that. Completely expected and planned for. When revealing forces, choose an opposing sideline game element. If Dr. Thing is on his starting click, the chosen sideline game element can't be brought into the game. So yeah, it's another one of those sideline game elements. Okay, great. He's got a movement power. I'll never give up. You'll never win. Plasticity, sidestep, free. Place Dr. Thing adjacent to an opposing character that attacked Dr. Thing since your last turn. So that's kind of like how he closes the distance. And when he does close the distance, he's got plasticity. He's got a special defense power. Invincible, Dr. Thing takes a maximum of 1 damage from range attacks. Very nice. Looking at his dial here, he's certainly worth 150 points. His super strength and he doesn't have any charge, but he's got that sidestep and the ability to be placed next to. Is it a free? Free. Place Dr. Thing adjacent to an opposing character that attacked Dr. Thing since your last turn. Pretty nice. So yeah, you can look at his dial here and see that he's a pretty mean beat stick. No range, but it doesn't matter because he does a lot of damage and he constantly has close range combat expert, which is super nice. Honestly, this is a really great thing dial. Like, I would like to see this more on a thing than this Dr. Thing. But yeah, I think it's a fine hero click, I suppose. Sculpt is cool. Paint's, it's there. And the dial's pretty nice too. So yeah, 7.9 for this Doom. What do we got next? We've got the Prisoner of Planet Doom. This one's probably my favorite from the chases. Well, it's tied with the next one, but it's one of my favorites, and the reason being is because I love the story it comes from. Doom literally, like, oh my god, he kills a lion and then uses it to make his armor, I guess. Oh, you guys, you need to check this out. What is it called? It's called Doom. It's just called Doom. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, he's got the many faces of Doom trait. It's okay. Then he's got the Doom takes what he wants trait. Whenever Prisoner of Planet Doom KOs an opposing character, after resolutions, choose one. Choose a standard power on that character's card. Prisoner of Planet Doom can use the chosen power this game, or choose a combat value. Prisoner of Planet Doom modifies the chosen combat value 1+ this game. Then he's got another trait. A world not of my making, yet of my design. At the beginning of the game, if you are not the first player, roll a d6. 3 to 4. First player skips their first turn. Oof. 5 to 6. First player skips their first turn, and this game, Prisoner of Planet Doom may choose both options for his Doom takes what he wants trait. Which is like a huge, I don't know, that's like a huge aspect of playing him at 150. If you don't get all of those rolls like that, then he's not worth 150. For sure. But let's keep going here. A special attack power, Doom will prevail. Steal energy, but with closer range attacks. Nice. Looking at his dial here. It's hard to argue that he's worth 150 ever. I mean, the long-range combat expert is nice, but when is he... Like, first of all, no Indomitable. Big problem. Why doesn't he have Indomitable? Why does he not have Indomitable, but he does have the armor keyword? What? I don't get that. It's just a hard dial to... It's really hard to do at 150. I don't know how anybody would do that. Everything depends on him killing people, which also depends on him rolling certain numbers in the beginning. Really, really, you just want to run him at 75. At that point, you can just pop him up somewhere, and you'll have to force people to kill him because he'll just be shooting people with long range combat expert and hitting them, which is what your goal should be. But yeah, this Doom, his stats are not good, but I absolutely love the sculpt. The paint job is really good. This is, yeah, one of my favorites. One of my favorite Dooms ever. Even despite the dial. Love it. Next we have the infamous Iron Man, because I just can't get enough of this HeroClick. Look at that. 10 sculpt, 9 paint, 10 dial, 9.7 final. He's another title character. He's got improved targeting, hindering, and characters. His title character abilities are rad. Let's read them. So much potential wasted. +1 plot point. Free. Outwit until your next turn. When he uses it, he may instead target any number of characters he has hit this turn and may choose different powers for each. Pretty good. Then he's got 1-. I will be Iron Man. Free. Make an attack with 4 targets. Hit characters are dealt a maximum of 1 damage. Also very nice. -2. I leave you to consider the subtext of our interaction. Free. Half speed. Phasing teleport is free. After resolutions, infamous Iron Man can use regeneration as free. Ooh. And then, last but certainly not least, -5 plot points, a spell cycle to cheat demons and devils. Free, turn infamous Iron Man to click number 1. This game, infamous Iron Man has the Power Cosmic Team ability, can't be healed, may activate each of his other plot point abilities once per turn for 0 plot points, and when infamous Iron Man is KO'd, you lose the game. Yeah. Gotta love that. Looking at his dial, he's a mean, tough boy. He's got the Doom Team ability and the Mystics Team ability. And there's a little spot there waiting for that Power Cosmic Team ability for you to go hard in the paint. 100 points. So, you know, if you can keep him alive for a game and he's bringing those points up, and you can get your opponent on the, on the back foot, then it's a strong possibility that you would use his ult there and take that risk of losing the game. I'm going to try it next time. I'm going to try it. Love this HeroClick. I know we already went over it in the Empire set review, but like I said, I couldn't get enough of it. I just wanted to show him up on screen again. Isn't he so pretty? All right, next we have the Disco Dr. Doom, as he's known. DJ Doom, as it were. Now I see him for what he really is, a almost perfect representation of him in his original appearance. He's got the costume and everything. He's got the shawl over his shoulders and the pants that kind of go down to his knees. It's so great. And this little board, this little electronic board thing that's in front of him. He's got the Many Faces of Doom trait. He also starts the game with the Time platform. Dr. Doom may start the game with the O10 Time platform equipped. When he uses its effect to choose to return to his starting area, he isn't dealt the 1 unavoidable damage. Pretty nice. The Time platform, I'll show up on the screen right here. Okay. He's got another trait. I want that treasure. Free. Once per game, remove a Time platform equipped to Dr. Doom from the game. If you do, equip Dr. Doom with an equipment of 10 points or less on an opponent's force, on the map, or equipped to one of their characters. And he's got a third trait, learned from the past. At the beginning of the game, roll 2d6s and place the results on this card. If Dr. Doom is 150 points, roll 3d6s instead. Whenever any attack roll is made, you may replace a d6 in the roll with a d6 from this card. I love that. This whole thing, I mean, I don't know about he jumping back to his starting area. I don't know how useful that is, considering that he does not have any move or attack. His dial is okay. I don't know how useful he's going to be. He's kind of gimmicky, as it were. But, I don't know. It's cool. I like this Doom. He's very simple and straightforward. I think running him at 75 is a great choice. Great idea. And he still comes with the platform, the time platform. So really, yeah, I would run him at 75 mostly. But I love this Doom, the DJ Doom. The sculpt is perfect. Paint job could be a little bit better, but and then the dial is okay. So yeah, we're gonna give him a 9.0. Oh, we're getting down to the wire here, folks. Next, we have the Cosmic Clash Doctor Doom. As I've stated before, not my favorite Doctor Doom sculpt, but it'll do. His paint job is pretty well done, especially on this Cosmic Clash version of him. I can tell that they had a black base and that they were painting over that, and it looks good. It looks very good. And the darkness, the dark color of his armor, the kind of like dark gray, as opposed to the silver that's on a lot of these other Dooms, is also very, very nice. So yeah, this Doom is the primo Doom, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to statistics, accurately representing the character, this Doom is where it is at. There's not a single Doom that even comes close to holding a candle to how perfect this Doom is. And so his dial is perfect. There's nothing else to say. So let's go over it, shall we? Only Doom is fit to rule leadership, but instead removes an action token from himself. When Dr. Doom uses it and succeeds, until your next turn, he has improved targeting, hindering, and protected mind control, outwit. Other powers and abilities can't remove action tokens from Dr. Doom. He has a special attack power, which is found on the first click of each of his starting lines. Energy Explosion. When Dr. Doom hits with a ranged attack, after resolutions, give each hit character an action token. If you can't, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Unbelievably nice. I've had a lot of trouble pulling it off because everybody always focuses Doom the moment I put him on the map. So, He has a special defense power, which is his stop click that occurs on the second click of each line. You have Angered Doom, Stop, Toughness. When Dr. Doom is targeted by an attack, you may choose a standard defense power that you haven't chosen this turn. Dr. Doom can use that power for this attack. This is where this Doom gets crazy, because you can essentially avoid so many people's attacks by just choosing the proper power for the right attack. And it also always occurs, if I'm not mistaken, it does always occur on a click with probability control. So you're always going to be able to get that second chance too, to have your opponent re-roll. It's perfect. Bellissima. He also, on the first click of every line, has this special damage power. Few men are as subtle as Doom. Outwit. Free. Choose an opposing character of lower... Outwit. Free. Choose an opposing character of lower points within 4 squares and line of fire, and a power, standard or special, they can use. The chosen character can't use that power until your next turn. So this is the opposite of the read from the Cosmic Clash, where he can do that to somebody above his points. This Doom has to do it to somebody beneath his points. But still, that's like a double outwit against those people, and that outwit goes through Power Cosmic. So that's even nicer. Let's look at his dial. It's just chock-a-block. Chock-a-block. 11 clicks. I mean, I'm just going to let you guys look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. He's got at least an 11 attack for all except 4 clicks. He's got Pulse Wave intermittently, with that being switched out with Penetrating Psychic Blast intermittently. And Energy Explosion he's got for those 3 clicks. I wish that there were more of those special attack powers, but it might make him, not fair. But yeah, he's always got that second click on the line, stop click, so it's really frustrating to your opponents. He's on his first click, 12, 12, 18, 5. You hit somebody for 5, they're like, shit. And then they hit you, and you go up to your 19 defense with that pick a power. Ugh. And prob. This Doom is just perfect. 300, 200, 100 points you can run him at. He's really, I would say I've had the most success using him at 200 points. When I have big games, like 400 to 500 point games, I guess I wouldn't consider a 400 point game a big game. But if I played 300 point Doom with a decent 100, that would be nice. But usually I'm playing that 200 point Doom. And he's nothing to scoff at by any stretch of the imagination. He's very annoying to your opponents. And he can do a lot of damage. All right, we're going to move on from this Doom, even though he's just so amazing. All right, next we have the old clobbering time Dr. Doom. Look at this old boy. You know, I had to acquire this again. Not like I ever had it to begin with. The reason being is back in the day when we used to play HeroClix in the neighborhood, my brother had the veteran Dr. Doom. And we all didn't really know the rules as well as we know them now. I know that I still don't follow the rules now, but at least I know them and choose not to follow them. Back then, we didn't even know. But even so, this Doom was just that good. And he would my brother would always win the game. And it's like, eventually, the veteran Dr. Doom disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to that Dr. Doom. Couldn't find it. And to this day, we still don't know what happened to it. I'm being serious. I'm not being sarcastic here. I had nothing to do with it being just... Maybe I did, and I have expunged that from my memory. Well, I'm pretty sure I didn't do it. So it disappeared. But I got it again. Because I couldn't... Once they came out with the legacy card, I was like, ugh. I can't not. So yeah, look at this card. He's got some extra traits and all that. The world shall know the might of Dr. Doom. When Dr. Doom hits, after resolutions, generate a Doombot bystander, max 3. You will fall beneath my legion of Doombots. Dr. Doom modifies his attack and defense by X, where X is equal to the number of his Doombot bystanders on the map. Dr. Doom gains an additional bolt if 2 or more of his Doombot bystanders are on his map. Fools, that was not the real Doom. Free. KO one of Dr. Doom's Doombot bystanders. If you did, place Dr. Doom in the square they last occupied and heal him a number of clicks equal to the number of his Doombot bystanders on your force. Looking at his dial here, you better hope that you hit people on your first click. Really, the goal is to maybe give him a 13 attack. A 13 attack, running shot in, hit 2 people, get 2 Doombots. Then you got a 20 defense with your what's the word? Mastermind. I don't know how useful this Doom's going to be in play. He's 175, which is a lot to spend on a guy with stats that go down to a 6 attack and a 13 defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, it's rough. For 175, I don't know. I'll try him out soon here, but I would be very surprised if this Dr. Doom pulls his weight. Very, very surprised. Now, if we combine him with the other Doom that generates Doombots, that might be a team. I don't know, and that's probably my next attempt. Just a Doom team. Which is the real Doom? You don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I love the new. By the way, the new cards, the new legacy cards are they're very attractive looking. I'll put it like that. And they're made out of a material that's very nice as well. Here's the Doombot bystander token. It's so out of focus. So essentially, it is really terribly out of focus. It's just the first click of many of the Doom. I think it's the experienced Doombot from Clobbering Time. So yeah, yeah, and you can see his fist is closed, whereas real Doctor Doom's fist is open. That's how you could tell which was which. I love the sculpt. It's for me been a like a classic Doctor Doom sculpt, and that's probably why I like the other one where he's on the rock, and I gave that a 10. Probably why I gave that a 10 because it looks like this one, but it's even better. So yeah, that is that Doom. And last, but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have God Emperor Doom from the Fantastic Four set. Yeah. Like, I should just not even say. I mean, okay, let's just go over his powers. He can see through hindering, and he can target characters adjacent to him. And do you have an Infinity Gauntlet now? Free. Choose an opposing character within range and line of fire. That character can't use the effect of equipment until your next turn. It's... Think about if you're going up against somebody like anybody who has an Infinity Gauntlet. Nope, I'm going to turn that off for now. Very nice. God of Battle World. When establishing themed teams, God Emperor Doom gains all Battle World keywords. Leadership, Perplex, Colossal Stamina. When God Emperor Doom uses Perplex to target another character with a Battle World keyword, you may instead modify a combat value except damage by +2 or -2. He's got a special attack power. The Wrath of Doom cannot be ignored. Close. Make a close attack. Other characters can't use powers during that attack. And then he's got a special damage power. You had to meddle, didn't you? Stop. Battle Fury, exploit weakness. When this click is first revealed, remove all action tokens from God Emperor Doom. And it says this click, not this power. So, that means, looking at his dial here, both times he hits that stop click at the end of his dial there, you will remove all the action tokens from him, which is super nice. So essentially, this Doom is just a... I mean, he's just straight pure damage. Either he's shooting you up close or far away from 9 range with his 13 attack and penetrating psychic blast. Or when you move him further down the dial, he could just pulse wave you and ignore your power, or he could just use his close attack and charge you and ignore your power. I guess he can't charge you. It's a close. So he can't charge you with that, but still. Ugh. He's just pure damage. They throw in a few clicks of shape change there. I guess just to put something else in there other than probability control. But yeah, this Doom is just straight pure damage, just pure goodness in a click dial. I'd like to see him face off against some of these Supermen that I have, or yeah. Anyway, this Doom is just... What else is there to say? I mean, look at his dial. Just look at his dial. The question one would ask oneself is, if this is 300 points, 300, 200, 100, is the Cosmic Clash the same? Are they just as good as one another? And I think... I don't know. I've never played them against one another, so I don't know who would win. I would say that this one would win in a fight against the other Doom. But you never know. I mean, the other Doom stop clicks are where a lot of his ability is at. And he can outwit this guy. Well, I guess... I consider when it says less than, I would say equal to or less than. I think that would be more fair. I know maybe that's not the rule, but whatever. So anyway, yeah. And obviously his sculpt is beautiful. The paint job is beautiful. The like metallic sheen on his white it's just very nice. I don't know how else to describe it. You guys hopefully can see on screen how like velvety his cape and the white pieces on his armor or on his clothes look. And his eyes are actually really good too. And the sculpt is just beautiful. And I mean, it's just the cape is yeah. I'm very happy I could get my hands on God Emperor Doom. On all these Dooms, on all these Chase Dooms, because they're really all just. I mean, I love Doom. Who doesn't love Doom? Well, that is going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the last Doctor Doom I'm going to go over. I'm pretty sure I got all of them. I certainly got all of them in Modern Age, I would say. But I don't know if I got all of them, of all time. I know I'm missing some older ones, but... I'm missing the Doom the Annihilating Conqueror, Valeria von Doom, and all caps Doom. I'm missing those ones. I'm pretty sure those are the only ones I'm missing, though. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the previous one. If you did and you want to help me out, go ahead and drop a like or a subscribe even, or a comment, or both, or all three. Or none of it, if you just want me to get stuffed. So, what honestly would be more funny? It'd be more funny if you just wrote in the comments, "Get stuffed." That'd be great. Anyway, we'll be back next week with something. I don't know. Maybe it'll be the Magneto video. Maybe it'll be a different video. I've been working on a few things. But we'll see when we see it. And, but the next Hero Clix video, the next Clix pinup video, will be the master of magnetism himself, Magneto. So I look forward to seeing you guys then. I hope you do as well. And have a great night.